bass trap? In pro audio terms, and more accurately, I guess, in acoustic treatment terms, a bass trap is an acoustic energy absorber that's designed to reduce the amount of low-frequency energy in a room. Depending on the dimensions of a room, bass frequencies can resonate and build up, making the frequency response of that room problematic for recording and mixing music. Bass traps can also help to even out the bass response across the various locations in the room, so as you move around the room, the sound will be more consistent. The basic operating principle of a bass trap, as with all acoustic absorbers, is to convert sound energy into heat. There are two basic types of bass traps: porous absorbers and resonant absorbers. Porous absorbers are broadband devices, meaning they work over a range of frequencies. This makes them easy to use and to place in the room. Porous absorbers are most commonly made of fiberglass, mineral wool, or open cell foam. As the air molecules move through the absorber, the material resists the air motion, with friction converting that sound energy into heat. Now, a downside to porous absorbers is that they need to be quite thick to affect the powerful low-frequency waves, and the lower the frequency that needs to be controlled, the thicker the material needs to be. Often, porous absorbers are mounted to walls and placed in corners, which is where bass energy tends to build up. However, a porous absorber will be most effective at a location 1/4 wavelength away from the wall or reflective surface. So actually spacing the absorber away from the wall even a few inches can help to improve its efficiency as well as to reduce the lowest frequency that can be absorbed. This is because the velocity of the air motion is greatest a 1/4 wavelength away from the wall or reflective surface, and higher velocity results in more friction and more heat conversion. The danger with porous absorbers is that they can also absorb mid and high frequencies along with the low frequencies. To counter this, some porous absorbers may have a thin paper or foil covering to reflect high frequencies so that the room response doesn't become unbalanced. That thin covering won't impact low frequency performance at all. Resonant absorbers, on the other hand, are devices that are tuned to specific frequencies. So for best results, some knowledge of the resonant frequencies or modes of the room is useful. There are generally two types of resonant absorbers. The first is called a Helmholtz resonator, which was named for physicist Hermann von Helmholtz. A Helmholtz resonator can be either a sealed device with a tuned port or a series of slats across a rigid frame. With Helmholtz resonators, the devices resonate at a specific frequency and reduce sound energy in the room. If you want an example of how a Helmholtz resonator works, crack a window in your car open when you're driving down the highway. At a certain point, the noise will become very loud as the space starts to resonate. Helmholtz resonance concepts are used in a wide variety of applications, including automotive and aircraft design, architecture, musical instrument design, and much more. The second type of resonant absorber is called a membrane or panel absorber, and it uses a diaphragm that resonates at certain frequencies. Often the membrane or diaphragm will be a thin sheet of material, such as plywood, that's attached to a wooden frame. The sound energy causes the panel to vibrate and resonate, reducing the energy in the room. Resonant absorbers function based on pressure rather than velocity, so they work best when placed flat against a wall or surface where pressure will be at maximum. In some cases, a combination of the two types, resonant and porous, may be ideal, with the resonant absorber working at specific problem room mode frequencies, and the porous absorber providing more broadband control. Just about any room will benefit sonically from bass traps, and in my experience, it's difficult in just about any room to add too much bass trapping. Smaller rooms in particular can benefit greatly from bass trapping, and in fact, proper bass trapping in a small room can actually make the room seem as if it has more stronger bass frequencies than the untreated room, because the room response becomes much more even as the room modes and resonances are controlled. If you want to learn more about audio and music concepts like this, visit the News and Research page at sweetwater.com or check out the other videos in our Glossary Terms playlist. What is a bass trap? A bass trap is a device that's designed to capture a wild bass that's become a nuisance. A bass trap captures the bass in a humane fashion so that it can be domesticated and trained to become a productive musical instrument.